Hi, I'm Jackie Wagner, and today my guest is Rob Way from the Winnebago County Parks Department. He is the director out there. And I want to thank you for coming again, Rob. We did a show a while back.
You
and
bet.
you said it went pretty fast, so we're going to give you another chance. You brought this along. What is this going to be about? What are you going to talk on that?
Well, Jackie, I have a couple issues with trails this summer. Several of them, I'll talk about them in order, but this is the first one, and that's coming up in the very near future. This involves the Wawash Trail.
Okay.
And everybody out there by now should be familiar with what's happening with Highway 110 and the reconstruction that's happening on it.
Yeah, I had John from the Highway Department on, and he explained some of that.
Well, he probably explained the Highway 10 aspect of it, and maybe he touched upon the Wawash Trail.
No, he didn't.
Okay, well, I'll be just making mention of this because it is coming up in the very near future that the Wawash Trail, as it functions down here below Winneconne, here's Double G, Brooks Road is right about here. As it stands right now, this portion between Brooks Road and near the West Wind parking lot, West Wind parking lot, just to the west of the 41 interchange there.
Okay.
That will be shut down.
Oh.
A lot of work's going on there with the highway construction.
Oh, what are they going to do? Because of the 10? Is that?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of that trail, basically, they're not going to be working on the trail per se. A very small section of it is going to be, but obviously it doesn't function as a trail if you're cutting off one end
Part
of
of
it.
it.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, people will be able to go in perhaps from the West Wind parking lot to a what amounts to a dead end and walk back out.
Okay.
But basically here around County Y in particular, that is where the two intersect, where County Y, 110, and the Wawash Trail intersect. A great deal of work is going to be going on there. That is going to involve, number one, shutting down the trail. Number two, they'll be putting in, as part of an arrangement, compensation if you would, for the inconvenience, so to speak. We're losing a parking lot, but we're also gaining a much larger parking lot, paved parking lot in the end.
Okay.
And I think a lot of the trail users are going to appreciate that.
Can they get on the trail any other place?
Yes, they can. I've mentioned up here, just below Double G, there is Brooks Road. You can't see it too well on this map, but from here on up, so people were to go in, I might recommend, if they want to start the trail, somewhere around Double G would be
A good place.
Yes, if they're to hike north, obviously
But
south
there's no
of that.
parking there, I bet.
Small parking lot.
Oh, is there?
Correct.
Okay.
Just about everything between Y and all the way up to Larson. Really, they're small parking lots, and that's why this is such a bonus. This is going to be a fairly good-sized parking lot that we're going to have.
If somebody wanted to ride their bikes out there, they'd take it out with the car.
Correct.
And then just get on the bike from there.
Correct.
Come back.
At about Double G, I'd recommend, and then having to go north. Now, I'm still working with the Highway Department trying to get some communication on specific start dates for the construction. Actually, it amounts to any day now. They've held off. Their schedule did state that they were already going to be doing earthwork out there, according to their graph and so forth. But I think it's just about any day now. We'll try to get a notice out to the paper and let people know about it. But already we're seeing heavy equipment at that County Y parking lot. So a lot of people, I think, already know it's going to happen.
Okay.
So it might just happen suddenly, and here it is shut off for a several-month period.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, up here at Highway 10, there is another construction project going on. I think everybody's aware of Highway 10 that's going to be put out to 4 lanes further up here. Let's see, where are we? Up around Larson. Up in this area. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm too high. Winchester, right here. The Wawash will be shut off for a short period of time. Now, that construction schedule is not set. That'll be taking place later this summer.
Okay.
At that point, they plan on putting in a fairly significant box culvert, which amounts to basically a big tunnel
Okay.
that's going to run underneath Highway 10. It's going to be interesting.
Is that the one that they were talking about at Clayton? Something about a
Yes,
tunnel?
yeah,
Is
and that's going to tie me into my next trail situation. Indirectly, really, Highway 10 is also, now this is our project, Highway 10, we already have the Wawash, so the DOT is covering this project, but the Highway 10 going east-west also is going to include eventually what's called the Friendship Trail. It already starts in Manitowoc and runs over, I believe, to Calumet County. Now, eventually, someday, we hope to have a trail running out of the cities, running all the way to Stevens Point.
Oh, okay.
Now, that's on
Do they take the old railroad things, or they just
nothing
make?
there. No, this is along the right-of-way off of
Okay,
Highway 10. So
okay.
this is all new trail. There's nothing here. We fortunately had this, so the county does not have to pay a cent for that. What we have here going east-west, in order to get underneath what will be the, eventually be 45 going north-south,
Yeah, right.
same thing has to happen here. If there's ever to be a crossing there, you know, a viable, safe crossing, it has to follow the same type pattern, have a box culvert underneath that 4-lane highway. However, since there was not a trail there before, basically the DOT is requiring that some party, some entity, municipality pick up the cost of that. And what the town of Larson, town of Clayton is doing around the town of Larson is going to be, they're willing to foot the bill for this. They see the great need for trails.
I was at a meeting when they were discussing that tunnel at one time. I went to their town board meeting, and they were talking about it
Mm-hmm.
quite a while ago.
Yes, it's an ambitious thing. I mean, we're talking well over 100,000 for that box culvert. What they also have to do in order to get that trail as a viable, contiguous path is, I won't go into details on it, Jackie, you'll probably remember, up above Highway 10, it's going to have to, since there is a viaduct crossing over the railroad that's there, DOT is not allowing the trail to continue along that
Okay.
viaduct. So it's going to have to pipe up here on a detour. Basically what it entails is the railroad is requiring them to put in lights, crossing lights, believe it or not, on a trail. Nothing else,
okay,
a trail.
okay.
We won't argue the reasoning for it, but basically the town of Larson has to pick up the cost of that as well.
Okay.
Now the county's helping them out with donations. They're getting other donations. Kimberly Clark, I believe, is another one.
Okay.
But this brings me to my second point about the trails. What we have coming up in the town of Larson
Okay.
is what's called the Celebrate the Wawash Day on June 1st.
Okay.
And we're kicking it off. It's the town of Larson, the county's co-sponsoring. There's various other sponsors here too. I won't go into all of them, but this event, again, June 1st, starting at 8 o'clock, we'll be starting off with a what's called the Wawash Quad. It's a combination of a walk, run, bike, horseback riding. You could call it quadathlon, if you would.
Okay.
So various teams are going to be out there, and it's going to be a timed event. Obviously, there'll be awards and so forth, and it's going to be hopefully the first one of many that we have out there.
Good.
We don't know that anybody's ever done this before.
So what, do they do it just in a certain area, or what?
Yes, yes. They have a route that includes the Wawash. It'll go out into the countryside. There are various routes,
Okay.
but they'll be going up, and I believe the run itself, if I recall, goes all the way down the Brooks Road, and then another leg of it starts. It's much like a medley race.
Okay.
in
Where
which
do they
they're-
gather to start out?
A lot of these, I believe all of them, all the legs of it start out in the town of Larson.
Okay.
Although the particulars on this, this one isn't mine. I'm handling other ones of the Celebrate the Wawash event. Again, it's an all-day event.
Okay.
Again, that's just one facet of it.
Okay. That starts June 1st.
Yes, June 1st, 8
And
o'clock.
how do you get people to participate?
Well, if they're interested in the quad event itself, so they don't have to necessarily come up with a horseback rider, but if they have a biker or a runner, or if they're on their own, they can get in touch with a Renee Stotts Gilmore at 920-836-3023. Again, that's Renee Stotts Gilmore. She's kind of heading up this portion of it. And we do have these available at the County Parks Department office. We can mail it if you'd give us a call. These are available other places too, but we'll just start out at, this is
the
the
park.
event form.
Okay.
Now, the rest of the day, there are a lot of other events happening too. We're involved with a scavenger hunt. There's a band that's going to be playing into the evening, silent auction. There's all kinds of displays.
Food.
Yes, food. Lots of food. Quite a few sponsors. You know, one of our main sponsors is going to be WPKR. You know, they're going to be
Okay.
out there all day. Fox Valley Greenways, Gold's Gym. Trailer and Tax Sales, Custom Printing, Martins and Isley, and NEA. They're all going to be some of our major sponsors for it out there.
No, they give prizes away. Is there an age limit on this?
No, tell you what, the events during the day, I'm sorry, for the quad event,
Yeah.
yes, I believe it's 16 if I recall. A lot of the particulars are in here, though. Okay, so if you're a single person who wants to get on a team, call Renee. If you're a full team, say a company wants to sponsor their team, they can come up with the horses and so forth, possibly.
How many people are on a team?
Four. Four total.
Four
So
people
for the
in a
4
team.
legs, yes.
Okay.
One running, one walking leg, one bicycling, and...
The horse.
Yes. And it all doesn't have to be totally serious. I mean, people can be out there and just have a fun day doing it. Again, it all ends up at the town of Larson.
Now, is that a 3-wheel bike or a 2-wheel bike? Or?
I tell you what, Jack, you're going to make it hard on me. Either or.
Okay.
I don't know.
You don't
That's a
know.
good point. But powered, non-motorized.
Okay. And there is an age limit. You have to be 16.
Yes, I believe it is, and actually,
Okay.
I better, now that you pinpointed me on it, I better pick it out right away, and I believe it is 16. Well, 12 years or older.
Oh, all right.
So, yeah, I guess it had gone in at 12.
Okay. Kids ride bikes at 12, so.
You bet, and I'm
Okay.
sure there's a parental permission type requirement in there too. But
Okay.
again, the important thing is it's all-day event. Lots of organizations helping out with that, and I can only commend the town of Larson
Sounds like
for
fun.
what they're doing.
Sounds like it's going to
Yep.
be a great time.
You bet.
You don't know what any of the prizes are offhand?
Right now, they're still evolving as far as
Okay.
for the quad. We even have, we have giveaway prizes for our scavenger hunt. There's all kinds of things during the day, raffles, numerous events. And
Okay.
you'll be hearing more about it. Hopefully, again, WPKR will have some of the particulars on it as we lead up
Okay.
to it. We'll be doing some TV spots hopefully as
Okay.
well.
Well, that sounds great. That sounds really interesting.
You bet.
Does there a fee to get enter?
Yes, there
enter
is.
fee?
And again, I want to state that this is a fundraising event.
Okay. What is
Okay.
it for?
This is for the covering of the box culvert again
Oh,
that I
they have to-
mentioned, right,
okay.
at what will be 45.
Okay.
Again, Town of Larson has to pick that up, as
Okay.
well as those railroad crossing lights.
Okay.
Substantial investment. You know,
Okay.
and this is going to take time for
So
them to
that's where
come
the
up
money,
with this.
that's where it's going to go? for
Correct.
this?
Correct. So it's,
Okay.
and hopefully in the future, there'll be other, they'll have other development needs for this too in the town of Larson. So this is a long-term commitment, but these are the particular two sites that they need.
Help.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll have to remind everybody to ask for one of these brochures, and it's going to be June 1st, okay?
Yep. Yep.
So how is the park coming? What are we going to do with the pool?
Well, the beach is really as a running facility this summer. It has officially been, I guess, shut down is no other better
Okay,
term for
closed?
it. Again, because of the state situation with funding and so forth. What we'll do basically is put it in mothballs. You know, who knows? In the future, the
Oh,
situation
yeah, right.
might change, so we're not looking possibly to leave it out of commission forever.
Did you have a
But it's
lot
really in
of
limbo.
turnout for that during the summer? Or
Well,
did it
the
kind of
numbers-
die off? Or
I'd have to, yeah, as tracking goes, the numbers obviously go up with whatever type of season we're having. Now, last summer was fairly decent, not that many rain days. Our numbers range into the cumulatively all summer long, about the 6,000 range. Again, that's a lot of repeat, and that's
Right.
throughout the summer and so forth. But right now, we're looking hopefully at turning around next year if things change with some of the
when I got
funding.
on the county board, I was put on the Park and Rec.
Mhm.
And I was one that helped to push to have that swimming pool redone because it was so in such bad shape at the time.
Mhm.
And to put up those little places for shade for grandmas and
Yeah.
mamas that didn't want to sit in the sun. And I always thought it was a neat place to go. It was really nice.
Yeah, it is an asset, and again, the situation is fairly drastic, for what has to be done, and this is undoubtedly perhaps one of the first measures of many that the county will have to face.
Are you doing the road situation yet? I mean, is that still on?
For the road
Changing around,
improvements
yeah.
in the park, yeah, actually, as you recall, Jackie, I don't know if you're still on the board, we had gone in for a request for bonding for a
Yes.
fairly significant project that was
Yes.
going to take care of the road, hopefully once and for all, but now, more than likely, it's going to remain as a piecemeal project through the
Okay.
years coming out of the budget. So already this year, we have some money set aside that, I guess I'll call it cosmetic, is about all
Okay.
we're going to get out of it. It's going to be probably a fixing project year after year, instead of one big one.
Yeah,
And
right.
and I think you're familiar with what we'd like to do eventually with
Yes,
it,
I
is
am.
to do a two-way
Well,
ultimately.
because originally that park was laid out, a long time ago, and, that was just the basic. And maybe they didn't think, it was gonna be used that
Yeah.
much. So the traffic got heavier and more people were coming out there. And how is the soccer coming up this year?
Oh, real good. Lot of use, lot of interest from new organizations wanting to use that facility.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we only have so much time, so much space out there.
Do you have volunteers that could come out and do some of that?
As far as taking care of it, not really. What we're involved with is the type of care that requires machinery, equipment.
Okay.
It's no small task taking care of the 20-odd acres that are
But you're not
formerly
closing any of that down?
No.
Okay.
We'll continue to address it. As you know, we've got a significant investment in there recently into the
Okay.
care of those fields. It's something, again, I want to point out to what we're facing in the future with, the limiting of budgets and so forth. I think right now, if we do have volunteers, or especially money monetarily,
Right.
certainly we'd like to funnel it into perhaps better care of it, but we're limited. We are limited.
I don't want to talk on this too much, but how is the baseball diamond and the tennis courts coming? Are they being used?
Oh, significantly, yes.
Okay.
Again, those are two facilities that get requests for more organizations coming in, and there's only so much
Okay.
programming time and space.
Is there
But-
going to be a charge for that? Are you going to charge to
Well, you're
want
getting
to play
into...
tennis?
Yeah, I can't address it as being the director of the department as much as it's really a wholesale policy issue that
Okay.
the committee is going to have to look at.
Dog
know-
park?
Yeah, well, pending right now, there is the question on the board about, the city of Oshkosh has gone with boat launch fees, as you know, Jackie. And I think it's logical, and people can almost take it as a given that eventually the county parks is going to have to go with a boat launch fee. Now, do we want to go with a boat launch fee or look at the bigger issue? We have other ones. The dog park has been one area of, well, we would like to support that better. We would like to get perhaps better enforcement of some of the issues out there. So the committee, and I think wisely, is taking a look at the big issue. We don't want to just jump in and quickly say boat launch fee, that's the end all. No, do we take a look at the big picture? Because all of them are tied together, really, for how we administer it and how we have to enforce it. So instead of taking the quick little step, I guess we're looking at the big picture. And it's something that I don't want to speak for the committee, but I believe it is going to be pending for some time. It's going to be a slow process of looking at other park systems, what they're doing, getting the information and kind of digesting it. And again, it's a big policy issue. And it doesn't come from the director level necessarily. It's going to have to be developed through the Parks Committee and on to the county board.
The thing is that once, right now you need the money because the state's holding back. But once that state starts having money, they never take those fees off again. Once they're there, they're going to be there for the rest of eternity,
Well, there are pluses in those, though, too. Even if the state does, if there are better times financially, are you really going to see a big jump in the park's operational budget? I doubt it. And for example, we were talking about the roads. There's so many capital investments, capital improvements we have to make within the park system just to keep up, that really it's not going to be there no matter what, whether the state funding stays or goes or whatever. So I guess this is one mechanism to look at. I don't want to say it's the end all either, but I think you seriously have to look at our infrastructure and whether we are going to be able to keep up with it and at least look at these alternatives.
How's the restrike coming? What are you going to do with that?
Well, good news with that, Jackie. I don't know, maybe we talked about this last time.
I don't
I
know
seem
if
to
we did or
recall. By now, most everybody must know out there that we do have a new operator on board. The former one, you know, had some financial troubles and so forth, and about midsummer they ended, and now we have on board a real substantial partner, and I'll call him partner, because that's what we have with our new agreement. Wisconsin Motorsports, people are going to be familiar with them out of PowerCom, Beaver Dam PowerCom Raceway.
Okay.
They are partnering up with us on a lot of different things within the rental agreement, and that includes the naming rights, the billboards, the advertising, number of areas that now we're going to be sharing some of the revenue from those, a percentage of it. So how they go, I guess we go, and I don't want to say that really we couldn't make near, if not more, than what we had with the former operator as far as a rental fee. So it's good news. It's going to take time, though.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Everything does.
Yeah, and hopefully, you know, weather plays with this, the fan attitude for these folks coming in.
Will there be different kind of cars than what we had before? Or are they going to be basically the same type car?
Right. There's a whole, I don't want to go too much into the various classes they have.
Okay.
I'd rather they got on board and started advertising themselves, because it's been going back and forth, and I don't know what they ended up with precisely, but there will be, I believe it is at least 2 or 3 of the same classes that they've run in the past here, and I think a couple new added ones. Some real neat features, too, that I'm not a total race fan, but a couple different features that were real intriguing that involved more, I guess you'd say, participation from the local people, the local grassroots people.
Okay. Do they have to change the track at all? Or
No.
is the track that we got good?
No, part of our agreement, it was pretty much understood when we were negotiating, when we were talking with them, that we had very little investment dollar to change that track at all. And they understood that, and they accept it as is, because
Okay.
it does have a name for itself, Jackie. It's gotten out there as being a quality track with quality facilities, too.
All right.
So they're not looking to come in and make major changes. However, let's say our partners are substantial enough where they could front the money to do a partnership. If it was improvements about the racetrack and it benefited both us mutually, we could look at projects. And I think they have some interest in that area. So you may see something very much out this year or maybe even next year, but I think you're going to see some capital improvements out there coming from their direction.
Oh, all right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
And what about the big bands in the summer and that? Are they all still coming, the country thing? And
Yep.
or how many do you have? Is it just the one
Well, two big ones. That's the Country USA,
right?
and then the Life Fest.
Okay.
The rock concert that took place several years ago really doesn't take place anymore, and I think the Country USA folks kind of absorbed that and put it on their on a smaller scale on their Wednesday night. If you
Okay.
recall, they've started to pick up Wednesday night, and then they go through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday with their country
Western.
schedule. But they are the last weekend in June, as far as Country Fest. They have really got their act together. They
really draw a crowd, don't
Yeah,
they?
and it's getting bigger. As a matter of fact, really, they've capped out. They're not looking to draw more. Really, they're looking to
Really?
put on.
To do more? Maybe
Yes,
twice a year instead of
they're
one?
looking at not do more, they're looking to increase their quality, really. Doing some of the things as far as what will add to the quality. But they've been kind of through the years dealing with what we have had in place and can offer them as far as resources. Now they're actually, I can say, building their own resources. You're familiar with the property to the west of the expo? Well,
Yes.
they've gotten just last year an arrangement with the property owner to pick up those 16 acres, which moved all of that camping that used to be on our site and hard on it. They moved it off-site to a facility that is much better than what we were able to offer.
Really?
Yeah, so they're using their own resources really to improve the facility. We're partnering with them with some of the infrastructure improvements we have. Again, they're looking to not increase their spectator size, but the quality of their show, and they're really working well with us as well as the.
Now, last year, was it separate, wasn't it, the Mexican thing?
Yes.
That wasn't with the fair. Is that going to come back
That
this
was
year?
separate. No, it isn't, unfortunately.
It's not.
Yeah, I believe it was the weather on that one that really hit him
Well, I
hard.
think one day it was really terribly hot
Yeah.
when I was out there.
Yeah, he didn't hit it too well on that one. I thought it was a real innovative idea. He had a lot of neat events, and it just did not go over well. We have a lot of those type of, with the Mexican flavor, events out there, be it rodeos, dances, and so forth, and might have been a case of oversaturation, I'm not
Oh,
sure.
really?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, because that one we were hoping was going to grow and be
Yeah,
something major.
I enjoyed that. Of course, I like to watch the dancing and some of the food
Yep.
that they had and so on.
Yeah. Now, the other one, Life Fest, is coming up. I believe that's more into mid-July. And they're another group that's really growing now. I believe they have a big sponsor that's coming on board with them, AAL, I believe. Shouldn't say that unless I was certain, but I believe that was the one that's coming on board with them.
Okay.
Looking to bring in some major acts. Again, that's the Christian theme. But anyone's invited out there. I know that a lot of people show up out there just for the family fun of it. It's really got that theme.
Oh, that's
and,
good.
and they have grown significantly. Their event basically might even start filling up into that area I've talked about with Star Show, the extra camping area,
Okay.
the overflow, if you want to
Right,
call
right.
it that.
Then they don't park so much in the park, do they?
It makes, well, they're not quite to the point of needing the park yet.
Okay.
You know, and I hate to do that with events other than, you know, Country USA, really, there's no other alternative. Life Fest has been on the verge of that, but now with that new area off to the west, I don't think we'll have to do that.
Quickly, tell me about the dog park. How is that doing? The one up in Neenah's not going to be, right?
Oh, the search.
Yeah.
Really, we've been on hold for some time.
Okay.
That one, I can officially say, is not going to bear fruit. We kind of went down that road totally and haven't developed anything. The property owner, we put out invitations, letters of inquiry to a lot of property owners that had things that might be viable for a dog park. Drew a
None.
blank,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And right now, I'd have to say that's where we're at. We cannot find the land.
Oh,
You know, again, our parameters are that it be at least a minimum of around 16 acres starting and be within easy access.
okay.
You know, 5 to 6 miles from the cities.
Right.
Doesn't have to have much of anything as far as just road access
Right.
and a place where we can put a parking lot.
Sit, and where people can just sit and
Yes.
watch the dog, fence it off, and
Yes.
so on.
And our situation out at the parks, we really need something. This one gets overused. It's really getting hit hard. I'm so happy when the Outagamie one opens up because it eases up our pressure here and we can get in there and do a few things that we have to do.
Okay. We've only got about a minute left, Rob, and so I think maybe we ought to say that one
Thank
more
you,
time
Jackie.
about the
You
June
bet.
1st thing,
Again,
12 and over.
yes, it's an all-day event. Celebrate the Y-Wash, June 1st, starting out with the Y-Wash Quad. That starts at 8, and that's a 4-man, woman event. Walking, running, biking, horseback riding. Individuals can call if they'd like for more information, 920-836-3023. They can also pick up entry forms out at the Parks Department, the County Parks Department.
Okay. I want to thank you so much, Rob, for coming today. I'll have to have you back again because this went fast
I
again.
know, I'm catching my breath.
But we did cover a lot. We've covered the different events that are coming up, and hope everybody's informed about what that park director does for Winnebago County. And thank you so much again.
You bet, Jackie.
We'll see you.